We are starting the season in Detroit where in 135 days we will kick off the Mid-American Conference Football Championship game, where for 21 years Ford Field has provided the canvas on which our student athletes have fashioned memorable moments that will remain painted in the minds of those involved. To the Detroit Lions and to Ford Field, thank you for your partnership. We're honored to continue to be a part of Detroit football. To the assembled media and those joining us on ESPN and our special guests, thank you for coming and joining us today. I appreciate the effort by our bowl partners who are here and want to single out CFP Chief Financial Officer Dave Marmion. We're welcoming 6 new head football coaches into the conference: Mike Uremovich, Ball State; Eddie George, Bowling Green; Matt Drinkle, Central Michigan; Mark Carney at Kent State; Joe Harasimiak, UMass; and Brian Smith at Ohio. I look forward to watching you coach and mentor your student athletes with enthusiasm and integrity in the days and years ahead. And I also want to recognize the new Director of Athletics at the University of Akron, Andrew Goodrich, and Ryan Bamford from UMass. We're glad to have both of you on the team. On July 1st, the University of Massachusetts officially joined the Mid-American Conference, one of the top institutions in the country, ranked 26th among public institutions, and with an athletics program steeped in tradition. I expect Sam the Minuteman to quickly develop rivalries within the conference. This will mark Northern Illinois University's final season as a member of the Mid-American Conference. Through 2 tenures, NIU has added to the reputation of the conference and had its share of memorable moments. In recent history, one only needs to think back to 2012, when NIU won the MAC football championship game in double overtime and went on to play in the Orange Bowl. That same season, NIU quarterback Jordan Lynch finished 3rd in Heisman Trophy voting. And of course, last season, NIU went into South Bend and defeated 5th-ranked Notre Dame, a team that advanced to the CFP National Championship game and most certainly was a signature win for head coach Thomas Hammock. Besides Coach Hammock, among the NIU football coaches who left their mark in the Mid-American Conference will include Bill Mallory, Joe Novak, Jerry Kill, and Dave Doran. NIU directors of athletics have also made a mark. Jim Phillips went from NIU to Northwestern and is currently the commissioner of the ACC. Current director of athletics Sean Frazier has had a notable tenure and is the newly appointed president of the National Association of Collegiate Directors of Athletics. I look forward to our final year together. In December, we will celebrate the induction into the College Football Hall of Fame of Nick Saban, who played at Kent State and whose first head coaching job was at Toledo, and Urban Meyer, whose first head coaching job was at Bowling Green. Congratulations to 2 coaches who had a profound impact on college football. Headlining the inductions into the Pro Football Hall of Fame is former Kent State basketball standout Antonio Gates. Many remember Antonio as a key member of the Golden Flashes NCAA Elite 8 team before going on to star in the NFL. Beginning this season, Apple will become the official sideline technology partner and official tablet of the Mid-American Conference. A few moments ago, I recognized our bowl partners, and it's worth noting that the Mid-American Conference has just had its best 3-year period in league history for bowl wins, notching 11 wins in that period. Let us also recognize the excellence displayed by the men's ice hockey program at Western Michigan, which won the NCAA Division I National Championship several months ago. I am pleased to announce that the Mid-American Conference is the 2nd Division I conference entered into full membership in Chi Alpha Sigma. Founded in 1996, Chi Alpha Sigma provides exceptional student athletes with a fraternal association that aligns educational and athletic success for a lifetime. All Mid-American Conference member institutions may now induct student athletes of junior standing or higher who maintain a cumulative GPA of 3.5 or better on a 4.0 scale into the National College Athlete Honor Society. Maction student athletes are scholars, are athletes, and engaged citizens. Over the past few months, I have been frequently asked if the House settlement is good for college sports. The response that comes to mind is from the lyrics from a Pink Floyd song, and it's, quote, "I am comfortably numb." That's from the Wall album, by the way, of 1979. The settlement is neither good nor bad. It is simply a framework for providing an evolving set of guidelines and guardrails to guide us among the emerging economic opportunities for student athletes. Currently, the rules around NIL and additional benefits are still being developed, as are the mechanisms to oversee those rules. The newly formed College Sports Commission is charged with the monumental task of monitoring and enforcing roster caps, additional benefits, and third-party NIL. Earlier today, our directors of athletics met with College Sports Commission CEO Brian Seeley and received a briefing on progress to date on constructing the systems to monitor and enforce those rules. The history of college sports is replete with examples of programs that search for loopholes or simply circumvent or ignore the rules. For this settlement to persist, the membership must behave in a manner that was approved by the Federal Appeals Court. Additionally, the House settlement is not the end of the road. It is step one of what are likely to be many, many, many more steps. Congressional assistance is necessary if we are to establish a unified NIL standard and have legal protections to develop and enforce eligibility rules that promote academic success. We are seeking to balance multiple goals: economic opportunities for student athletes and successful educational outcomes. This is what makes college sports different from professional sports. The goal is to get a college degree, and we need to have eligibility and transfer rules that we can enforce and that support and facilitate that outcome. I recently heard a couple of media talking heads say that college athletes should not have to go to class and that the athletes should just focus on playing and they could come and get a degree another time. I can think of several colorful adjectives. I'll just say wrong. Absent a direct link between intercollegiate athletics and the academy, it would call into question why we would have intercollegiate athletics on our campuses. Regardless of the economic issues, we must be attentive to, and primacy must be given to facilitating the successful educational journeys of our student athletes. The U.S. House of Representatives is currently considering the SCORE Act. In fact, if you were paying attention, yesterday it got out of committee and now will go to the full House, most likely in September. This bill is well worth serious reflection, as we need federal assistance in balancing these economic issues and educational outcomes. Last week, I and another member of our staff spent time on Capitol Hill visiting with key members of Congress on both sides of the aisle on this matter. A number of members of Congress from the Mid-American Conference footprint are key voices in this debate. Our student athletes also have been active as well, sending multiple white papers to Congress expressing their opinions. This was my fourth trip to Washington, D.C. in the past 12 months. We need help from Congress, and the Mid-American Conference will be actively involved in that discussion. Last season, the college football playoff expanded to 12 teams with opening round games at home sites, and by any measure, the playoff was a tremendous success. With 1 year remaining before a new 6-year contract kicks in, much debate is occurring on two topics. Should the bracket be expanded to 14 or 16 teams? And should there be a change in how the bracket is populated? Staying at 12 teams under the current format would be a perfectly acceptable outcome. The Mid-American Conference is interested in 14 or 16 teams, but the details are important. Unlike the CFP revenue distribution, which draws heavily from past performance and brand, selection for the CFP should be forward-facing, honoring conference champions and non-champions that had exemplary years. The CFP Selection Committee, of which Miami Director of Athletics David Saylor is a member, does an exceptional job. We should focus on ways in which we can enhance existing metrics, as well as the development of new data and metrics to assist the committee with the challenging job of populating the bracket. As a member of the CFP Administrative and Executive Committee, I, along with the ACC and SEC commissioners, rotate chairing the management committee meetings, which at times is a blessing and a curse, but is always an honor. This puts the Mid-American Conference in a critical role in these discussions and allows our concerns, ideas, and challenges to be heard. I am the only commissioner on the CFP Management Committee who was a part of the BCS before we created the CFP. And if you will remember, teams in the BCS were selected by a computer formula. Changes were made to that formula seemingly annually, which in part led to dissatisfaction in the selection process and a call to have a human element incorporated into that process. Flash forward to today, and we have expanded from 2 teams to 4 teams to 12 teams and have moved from a selection process by computer to one involving a committee, looking at an array of information and data. It's a system that has worked pretty darn well, although not without controversy, which is inevitable, regardless of the process. So here we are today, a year after moving to 12, we're considering expansion to 14 or 16 and implementing different methodologies to populate the brackets. History informs us that if we tinker with the event too much, credibility in the event, which is the second most popular sports championship in the country, behind only the Super Bowl, is at risk. In considering the future, we should not forget the lessons from the past. One of the challenges of Division I college sports is fragmentation among the membership. We have 32 conferences, 10 of which are part of the Football Bowl subdivision, which is further subdivided into autonomy FBS, non-autonomy FBS. Moving forward, it is becoming more and more clear that the way for our path for success forward is less fragmentation, more collaboration among all of us, certainly among the 10 FBS and certainly among the 5 or 6 non-autonomous FBS. NCAA governance is one area in which this makes perfect sense, but there are many, many others, especially economic-leaning areas. We're all going to win if we compete on the field, but collaborate in the boardroom. There is a wonderful quote by author Robert Heinlein that I often look at, and he wrote, quote, "Always listen to experts. They will tell you what cannot be done and why, then do it." That has always been the way in the Mid-American Conference. We are continually told budgets are not big enough, players are not fast enough, and we cannot compete. Yet year after year, with that chip on our shoulder and a deserved reputation for being efficient and effective with resources, we persevere and we succeed. It's our pirate mentality, and I look forward to getting the season underway and watching our teams fly the flag.